Hey, I'm Dr. Michael Lang. We want to age as gracefully as possible, don't we? So is there enough evidence out there that proves that certain specific nutrients, ingredients, or supplements can enhance, our skin, our joints, our hair, our nails? And there's a lot of great science that's come out recently with marine collagen tripeptides, riceramides, hyaluronic acid, and there's a new supplement called Dermaval. Well, we've taken all four of those and we've combined it in a supplement called Rejuvenate. 3 delicious flavors, chocolate, cherry vanilla, pink lemonade, and then we have it unflavored for those of you that want to just put it in your coffee in the morning. It's worth a try. I endorse it, obviously, 100%. If you don't like it, we'll give you money back. It's as simple as that. So check it out at Fortifeye.com. Ready, Susan?
I can hear you now.
Ask the Doctor with Michael Lang begins in 10 seconds.
When it comes to your health, are you seeing the check engine light come on more than normal? It's time to get under the hood. It's time for Ask the Doctor with Dr. Michael Lang. Sponsored by Lang Eye Institute and Fortifeye Vitamins. Dr. Lang is a board-certified optometric physician and certified nutrition specialist, helping people see and feel better through proper nutrition for 25 years. The doctor is in. Call now with your questions at 813-282-8283. That's 813-282-8283. Here's your host, Dr. Michael Lang.
Okay, good morning and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I should say Ask the Doctors. I am your host, Dr. Michael Lang, for over 30 years now. I started hosting Ask the Doctor of April 1993. Now we're the longest running syndicated live consecutive talk show running in the United States. And of course, my super co-host is Dr. Susan Somerton, who's also a board certified optometric physician, certified nutritional specialist, fellowship trained, and a diplomat in the nutritional arena as well. So both of us are here to answer any and all questions you may have regarding your vision, eye care, or a nutritionally related topic. I'm going to give you the live call-in show. This is a live show today. This is July 12th, 2025. So now you know if it's a tape or not. So July 12th, 2012. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. We're broadcasting from Salem Media here in Tampa Bay, Florida. And the live call-in number is 813-282-8283. That is 813-282-8283. Good morning, Dr. Somerton. It's great to have you co-hosting this. How are you?
Good morning, Dr. Lang, and good morning to all our listeners out there. I've missed talking to them for the past couple of weeks, so we're here ready to take your calls, anything, questions about nutrition, the eyes. We're happy to help. Give us a call.
Yep, and one more time, it's 813-282-8283. So no matter how simple or complicated your question is, we'll try to answer it to the best of our abilities. If we don't know the answer, we'll do the research and obviously get back with you. You can see us live video streaming literally all over the world via most social medias. All right, we're on Instagram, LinkedIn, X, YouTube, Facebook, a variety of other live video channels, plus a multitude of podcast channels as well. And we're on the Ask the Doctor radio network, coast to coast. So from literally California to Florida, up to Chicago and New York, and all the states in between. One more time, we'll give you the phone number. It's 813-282-8283. 8283. If you'd like to see myself, it's Dr. Lang, Dr. Susan Somerton, or Dr. Lori Caputi, you can come to the Lang Eye Institute in the Villages, Florida. A lot of you do travel from quite some ways away to come to the Lang Eye Institute. We're located in the Villages, right on County Road 101 and 466. Large two-story plantation-looking building, close to 40,000 square feet. We have a state-of-the-art eye care center, about 35 examination and treatment lanes, state-of-the-art technology, everything we need to analyze and treat the diseases in the eye. And remember, we do that with a nutritional kind of holistic twist. So come to the Lang Eye Institute. I'll give you the phone number if you'd like to set up an appointment to see any of the great doctors at the Lang Eye Institute. The phone number is 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. You can learn more at drmichaellang.com, drmichaellang.com, or langeyecare.com, langeyecare.com. And certainly follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on a host of other social medias. We're trying to build that Instagram page back up. It's about 200,000, 250,000 followers, somewhere around there. And that's simply Dr. Michael Lang _. You got to put the underscore in. Remember, we have a blue check, so it's been verified. It is the only legitimate Instagram site. There's literally hundreds of fake Dr. Michael Lang Instagram sites. Don't be conned into signing up for them. And remember, I will never ask you to talk with me in a private room. I will never ask you to give to a philanthropic organization or loan me money because, my car's broke down. So those are all scams. So follow me on Instagram at Dr. Michael Lang _. All right, we're getting ready to take some phone calls, and then we're going to talk about protein and how most of you are not getting the right amount of protein. And if you are, it's an adulterated, polluted protein. And if you're a vegan, we're going to talk about how you can get the best quality protein. But first, let's see. I think it's Misty in Parrish. Misty, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Had a quick question. Several years ago, my husband had a deep tissue massage that also did the scalp and around, the face and the ears. And during that massage, he said he felt or kind of heard something that felt like it popped on his, like around his ears, eye area. And days after that, he noticed that he started having drooping in that eyelid. And since then, the drooping's gotten a little better, but he's had severe dry eye. Have you ever heard of anything that could have, or know of anything that could have caused that?
Wow, that's interesting. A deep tissue massage. I've heard sometimes when you have chiropractic care, upper cervical chiropractic care, if it's not done correctly, can interfere with where the cranial nerves innervate into the base of the skull. And then maybe you could have atosis or double vision. But I personally haven't heard about anybody having deep tissue massage and having that problem. I doubt if the deep tissue massage is associated with the dry eye. Is it associated with the ptosis? I don't know. That's a good question. I think that he probably needs to be evaluated, first of all, because anytime you have a ptosis, how old is your husband?
He is 54.
Yeah,
this was a few years ago, and he's just been dealing with dry eye and eye drops. And then when he gets, more tired in the evening, you can notice the eye drooping still is there, but it's mostly the dry eye, just in that one eye now.
Right. And remember, anytime we have a ptosis in one eye only, if it's a relatively acute onset, and for people listening, a ptosis means a saggy or baggy eyelid, it's pretty imperative to get into your local optometrist, ophthalmologist pretty quickly, because a lot of times we have to do some neuroimaging, because sometimes it can be something more serious, like an aneurysm, all right? Oftentimes the bifurcation of the internal carotid and the posterior communicating artery. And I imagine if somebody's doing deep tissue massage and in that area of the neck, it could have potentially caused some kind of problem with that. Dr. Somerton, I don't know if you have anything to add to this, but you might be biting at the bit.
I actually have never seen a patient with any side effects from a deep tissue massage either. But again, it could be coincidence or it could be. Like you advise the eye exam, making sure they flip under the lid. There is such things as trauma we've seen where you've got this little fat pocket under your eyelid. And with that, if that's hit with trauma, that the fat pocket can drop down. That's under the eyelid. I know the ptosis that we're talking about, that droopy eyelid, that can come from repeated excess rubbing of the eyes or trauma to the eyelid as well. But as far as directly, I'm unsure about that, but I would definitely get checked out, like you said, for other just traumatic consequences.
Right. And there's a host of other things, from thyroid problems to something called myasthenia gravis, to trauma that can cause that as well. But if he's had it for quite some time now, chances are it's not anything serious. But I would definitely address it with, an eye doctor in the near future.
Very good. Thank you so much.
And then for dry eye, we're going to talk about dry eye more on the show. All right. You're still there,
Thank
Missy?
you. I am.
All right. I think we lost her. All right. You're listening
I'm
to
still
Ask the
here.
Doctors. Phone lines are open, 813-282-8283. That's 813-282-8283. Also, I am the founder and lead investigator for Fortifeye Vitamins, and you can learn more about the vitamin supplements that we develop, and fully transparent company based on our motto, right ingredients, right science, right for you. Go to the website fortifeye.com. It's kind of a play on words since we're eye doctors. Fortifeye.com is Fortifeye, fortifeye.com. And you can always look at the science section on Fortifeye that goes over why we put specific ingredients in our supplements. So certainly we have eye vitamins, we have proteins, we have pre-workout, post-workout, we have probiotics and enzymes, and we have, all sorts of superfoods and immune building supplements as well. So check it out at fortifeye.com. Let me give you the phone number for Fortifeye Vitamins, and then we're going to take some more calls. Fortifeye Vitamins phone number, I'm going to give it to you twice, is 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746. All right, let's go back to the phones. I think it's Sherry in Fort White. Sherry, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, and thank you for taking my call and all the great information you always give. I never miss your show. I wanted to ask about, I have been diagnosed with osteoporosis. That's icky. But my chiropractor told me I need to eat plenty of proteins. You have any other guidance, and what kind of proteins would you suggest?
Yeah, I agree. Protein is crucial because we got to build the muscle to help so you don't fall and break the bones, all right?
Right.
And certainly you're going to need calcium. You're going to need vitamin K2, a little phosphorus and boron and vitamin D. And, some natural holistic approaches is, go out in the sun for 20 to 30 minutes without sunscreen, as long as there's no contraindications, all right, like albino or antibiotics. Because the sun is very high in vitamin D. Eat some sardines with the bones, because not only is it a good source of protein, it's a good source of omega-3, and it's got the good type of calcium. Eat some cooked spinach or cooked kale for the vitamin K, and do some weight-bearing exercises while you're in the sun doing this. So that's a natural way of helping, build the bones. And then protein is very important. This whole show, we're going to talk about protein, okay? The fastest acting protein, all right, bar none, all the clinical studies have proven this, is whey protein, okay? But there's a lot of vegans out there that aren't going to touch whey. But most of the protein out there has really been adulterated and polluted with all sorts of stuff. So you got to learn to read labels, all right? I'm holding up right now grass-fed, Fortifeye grass-fed whey protein isolate. It's 30 servings. The only ingredient, when it looks at ingredients, is grass-fed whey protein. That's it, okay? It's unflavored. Most whey proteins you buy over the counter, first of all, are not coming from America. This is from American cows, and they've been polluted with lots of stuff, including sucralose, asulfide potassium, dextrose, maltodextrin, red, yellow, and blue dyes, artificial flavors, corn syrup, erythritol. So there's a lot of stuff in these and other chemicals and preservatives. So you got to read labels. If you can't really pronounce it, it looks complicated, you probably shouldn't be ingesting it. So I certainly recommend our Fortifeye grass-fed whey protein isolate. It's unflavored. You could put a banana and a pineapple in there and just water, or you can put some goat's milk or A2 cow's milk or coconut milk, blend it together, and you got a great pre-workout, post-workout, or meal replacement with that. But also, when you're looking for proteins, if it's a whey protein, look for 3 things on the label. Make sure it states that it is non-denatured or undenatured. That means it hasn't been heated to a gazillion degrees for over 30 minutes. So ours is only heated to 72 degrees for 15 seconds. That's non-denatured, so it doesn't destroy the immune-building properties of whey protein. Make sure it says grass-fed. If it doesn't say grass-fed, it comes from cows that are fed genetically modified grains that are pro-inflammatory, very high in pro-inflammatory omega-6, and then where the cows come from. So our super protein is New Zealand grass-fed cows, and our whey protein isolate is non-denatured American grass-fed cows. So look for that. And there's a lot more we're going to expand on in protein in just a minute.
Thank you.
All right. And stay away from the bears over there in Fort White.
You heard about them?
Oh, yeah.
I get scared every once in a while.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call, Sherry.
Dr. Lang, I think one specific exercise that she could try for osteoporosis, and especially with women, is simply jump training, where you do just slow, controlled jumps. It's not really about the height, it's about the landing, engaging those muscles. And that sends the message to the bone to build more bone cells and build that strength in the bone tissue. Then you're going to reduce that risk of fractures that you're susceptible with osteoporosis. And you really have to kind of engage those muscles, engage the leg muscles, and kind of feel it as you land. And that's a nice little trick for anyone out there with osteoporosis or to prevent osteoporosis.
That's excellent, excellent words of advice coming from an expert. Now, Dr. Summerton, there's been a lot of news about whey protein recently, hasn't there?
There is, and like you said, it is by far the very best protein out there. And we like the vegan protein too. I myself personally kind of alternate with the vegan protein, but I definitely make whey protein the mainstay of it because of the amino acid and the absorption and all the studies behind it that have proven that I'm going to get kind of the most bang for my buck when I'm taking that in.
Yep. And remember, whey protein isn't only for building muscle. A lot of people don't realize it, that a good whey protein is amazing for immune building properties. This whey protein, if it's non-denatured, remember, not destroyed with heat, is very high in immunoglobulins, all right? Very high in what we call covalent bonded cysteine. This converts to glutathione, the master antioxidant responsible for detoxification and anti-aging. Also, high in lactoferrin, high in CLA. All right, CLA is great for fat burning. All right, lactoferrin is great for your immunity. So remember, whey protein isn't the only fastest acting protein, which is great first thing in the morning after you've fasted all night or right after working out, but also great for building your immunity. You know, I drink a whey protein every day for, I don't know, the last 20 years, I guess. Sometimes I miss it when I'm traveling. But whey protein is the fastest acting. Now, if some of you have an aversion to milk, all right, then you want to go with a whey protein isolate, because the isolate goes through one more stage of microfiltration that removes all the fat. And of course, it has no lactose and no casein protein. A lot of you that are having negative reactions to milk is because of the casein or the lactose. Whey protein doesn't have either one of those. So consider looking for a good whey protein. And quite frankly, I'm really disenchanted and disheartened about the whey proteins that you can buy over the counter. And I know why they're filled with all that garbage is they got to try to make them taste good and they want them to be pretty. So they put dyes in it. And most of these are coming from feedlot cows, all right? So it's pro-inflammatory. Remember, you want to drink a whey protein to build muscle and boost your immunity and lower inflammation. So make sure it's grass-fed, where the cows come from, non-denatured, and it's not filled with all that garbage. So once again, I'm holding up our grass-fed whey protein. I'm holding up our super protein, which is New Zealand whey protein concentrate. So either one of those is amazing. Check them out at fortifeye.com. That's Fortifeye, fortifeye.com. If you don't buy our whey protein, then use it as a template when you're shopping, and you'll find it's very difficult to find a legitimate, good quality whey protein. And remember, most of us are not getting enough protein. Think about it. What did you have this morning for breakfast? Well, a lot of you haven't even had breakfast, or you had a piece of toast, you had a bagel, you had oatmeal, you had some cereal, you had a sweet roll, all right, cup of coffee. You didn't have any protein. Remember, if you want to thrive and not just survive, you got to try to get 1 gram per body weight of protein. At a minimum, 70 to 80% of your body weight in grams of protein. All right, we're going back to the phones. I think it's Carol in Lakewood Ranch. Carol, thanks for holding, and good morning.
Good morning, doctors. Thank you for taking my call. A few months ago, you had mentioned the Luminous Optilift that you were going to be doing.
Right.
I wonder if you could talk about that.
Oh, absolutely. So the Luminous Optilift is pretty amazing technology that we've been using. It's a non-invasive device. It's made by Luminous. It uses something called DMS, that's dynamic muscle stimulation, and RF, which is radio frequency, to address lower lid laxity and impaired blinking. And so what it does, it tones the facial muscles around the eye. It's a non-surgical solution for sort of a lifted appearance. For those of you that are getting these bags under your eyes, these fat pads under the eyes, and your eyelids, when we look at you with the microscope, your lower eyelids are pulling away from the globe of the eye, all right? That's called ectropion. And a lot of people that we see over 65 have a very small amount of this lower lid ectropion, lower lid laxity, and this addresses that. It's a non-surgical way to actually enhance the muscle tone, enhance collagen production, elastin production. It's pretty amazing. We've seen the before and after images of patients we've done. I actually have a patient that has Bell's palsy, and she's been a patient of mine 25 years. Her whole side of the face sags, and really nobody thought anything would work, and nobody thought this type technology would help. But we did 4 treatments, and she is 80% better. Her lid doesn't close completely, but at least it's not sagging down to the floor anymore. So cosmetically, she looks better, but the main thing is functionality has improved dramatically. The studies indicate that you get to close to a 300% improvement in dry eye symptomology after having the Optilift done, because remember, it's decreasing the lid laxity, making the lid a little tighter against the globe, but it also helps to open the meibomian glands that are clogged as we get older, and meibomian gland dysfunction is one of the root causes of dry eye. So it is called Optilift. We had the first in Florida. There are not many available. We do it at the Lang Eye Institute in the Villages. And Dr. Summerton, we've been getting pretty interesting results for our dry eye patients, haven't we?
We have, and it's just another modality that we can really help because we see so many patients with dry eye, and we know what a struggle that is on a day-to-day basis. So this gives us another tool that we can add. We know about more than 60% of our dry eye patients have that impaired lid closure, and it may just be a tiny little gap, like less than a millimeter. But when you blink, your blinking is to help with dry eye because it naturally should squeeze a little bit of that oil into your tear film. So even if you're making the oil, if you're not getting that squeeze, it's not signaling it to come out, and then your tears evaporate too quickly. So we found a non-pain. We love that it's no downtime. It doesn't hurt. You feel a little tingling when it's done. We both do it on ourselves, and you feel the heat during it. It's almost like a spa treatment while you're getting it done, but the results are remarkable, and it's just so great that it's non-invasive, non-painful, and no downtime.
How many treatments does it take?
So,
We go
yeah, go ahead.
We typically will do 4 treatments about 1 to 2 weeks apart, depending on if we combine it with the IPL that we can go more into as well. So we typically pre-book you. We do the consultation first, and then we bring you back for those 4 treatments. And then possibly long term, we're looking at maybe 1 enhancement treatment, depending on the person. We always have to take it case by case per year.
And
Okay.
we also, Carol, discuss with our patients, I think a lot more than most doctors that are doing this, about diet, because it's very important. Like I said, eating protein in the morning. Remember, this is helping to regenerate the muscles in the face, the collagen, the elastin. And if you don't have the building blocks, the protein, the amino acids for this to happen, it's not going to work to its fullest potential. So we definitely make sure that people are eating enough protein for breakfast, lunch, and supper. And also, I created the Fortifeye Rejuvenate a few years ago now, and I think that that can work as well, because once again, a lot of us are nutritionally compromised from the nutrients that help benefit this collagen and elastin production. And the Rejuvenate, I put the marine collagen tripeptides, the German hyaluronic acid, the rice ceramides, and the dermaval in it, and so that can help as well.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
All right, Carol, thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
But yeah, I'm glad she asked that, because we've getting some pretty amazing results. Luminous is the first, obviously, in the world to develop this. Luminous is the creator and the inventor of the IPL, the intense pulse light therapy. And of course, we also have the Luminous Optilight, which is the only FDA-approved IPL for dry eye treatment. And for those of you that have dry eyes and also have this lower lid laxity, all right, the combination of the two is kind of like the double whammy of fighting against this dry eye. I mean, I've literally had patients that I've been seeing for 25 and even 30 years, and they've even seen other doctors, second and third opinions, and just had some really terrible dry eyes. And we've done everything from punctal plugs to every type of drop to amniotic membranes to amniotic drops, everything. And then when we've combined the OptiLight, some just the OptiLight, some just the OptiLift, but when combined the OptiLight IPL with the Luminous OptiLift, like I said, it's the double whammy of fighting against, dry eye syndrome. And I've had women and men break down in the office and literally cry and give me a hug because their dry eye has resolved for the first time in years. Remember, some of these people are putting lubricants in their eyes literally every 15 and 20 minutes to survive, because dry eye can be a huge problem. It can be very, very painful. So now we just have, like Dr. Somerton mentioned, we got another tool in the toolbox to help our patients with dry eye. So, the Lang Eye Institute is a dry eye center of excellence. So people come from all over the country to get these treatments for their dry eye, and also for a natural approach for their macular degeneration. So I'm going to give you the phone number for the Lang Eye Institute if you'd like to see Dr. Somerton or myself. And of course, Dr. Lori Caputi at the Lang Eye Institute in the Villages. The phone number is 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. All right. And we're going to talk more about the Luminous OptiLight in just a couple of minutes. But let's go to the phones. Let's go to Steve in Clearwater. Steve, good morning, my friend.
Yeah, you were talking about the whey protein shortage.
Mm-hmm.
Is that everything that's a shortage is either caused economically by high demand or short supply, or both? Which is it, a supply problem or a demand problem?
No, it was a supply problem. Okay. And it all started during the pandemic because they really stopped, producing whey protein during the pandemic. And then everybody wanted it and there wasn't any for years. And then there's a huge back order. And so what happened, then the price went up so high, a lot of people weren't going to buy it. I mean, literally, whey protein tripled in price. So we used to have a bag of our whey protein isolate we sold for $62. Well, at $62, I made a profit. Well, I can't sell that bag anymore if I had it for $62 because my cost is higher than $62 for 60 servings. So that's why we went down. I'm holding up right now this clear jug of 30 serving whey protein, and I think it's $50 for 30 servings. And it's a grass-fed, non-denatured, unflavored. So we're hoping that the shortage comes away and the supply-demand problem and the price comes down. But now I got to tell you, with tariffs, prices are probably going to go up a little bit more until that's figured out. I mean, our fish oil, we may have to bump the price up just a little because the tariffs have been huge. Remember, they're not just Chinese tariffs, they're tariffs on everything. I mean, Norway, everybody's got a tariff. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but the consumer is going to feel that soon. Not immediately because, we're going to sell all our stuff for the price it is now. But things might go up, not a lot. It might go up $1 or $2, okay?
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing that's very interesting is about the covalent bonded cysteine. Is when they've looked at super centenarians, which are people that are 110 or over,
mm-hmm.
which there's only hundreds of them in the country. There's not thousands or millions. The one thing biochemically that they show consistently is increased glutathione production over the average population. So if that does help your glutathione production, that might be a very good thing to do.
And I bet most of those super centurions are not vegans, not to knock vegans, all right? But we're going to talk about that in a minute because these people are probably consuming some form of dairy. They're probably consuming some red meat or maybe they're even consuming whey protein. Whey protein is one of the best ways to stimulate glutathione. L-glutathione doesn't work that well. N-acetylcysteine is a good way too, but remember NAC has become a drug now and you can't manufacture it anymore. If you can sell through your inventory, but as of, I think it was last year, you really can't make new NAC and acetylcysteine. But, during a lot of the blood studies that we were involved in years ago for macular degeneration and nutrition, we found that the whey protein was the best way to stimulate glutathione, even better than NAC, but it had to be a non-denatured whey protein so that the glutathione, the cysteine, hasn't been, chemically altered or altered by heat. And that's one of the reasons I started having whey protein originally for my macular degeneration patients. And now, it's for everybody to help slow down the dreaded sarcopenia. And that's muscle wasting as we get older. And that's why we have both of the Fortifeye proteins and the Fit Pro.
Well, the interesting thing about the people over 110 is that they're so old that they're one of the few groups that you can study on diet exclusively and not supplements because they were born and they went through life at a time where supplements weren't available or even weren't popular.
Right.
So they're a very good group of people to study on the diet itself. The problem in nutrition is that if you say, I want to study how good vitamin E is for you or vitamin C, or the problem is that the people that take vitamins are usually people who have a good diet. Because if you're health conscious enough to take vitamins, you're probably health conscious enough to have a good diet. So they run together. And to separate those variables is extremely difficult. But anyway,
I wonder if these super centurions are in the blue zones, in Sardinia, over there in Greece, or in Central America, Costa Rica.
Yeah, Japan, the Philippines, those areas over there, we don't know if it's genetic or, but it seems to be diet. And, obviously different people, it's very difficult to differentiate that. But the biggest thing I think personally is stress. I think I know you're a nutritionist, but I think at my age, I'll be 70 next month. All my friends that have passed have had high stress jobs.
Right.
It seems to be more important or more they say diet will kill you in 20 years, cigarettes will kill you in 20 years, stress can kill you in a couple weeks.
Sure.
And that's absolutely true. And so to eliminate your stress, I'm going to end this conversation.
All right, Steve. Thanks for the call.
Bye.
And Dr. Summerton, when you think about it, my mom's 97 years old and she looks amazing. And, we had a really good family life. We ate a lot of good food and we all exercised. And so I think longevity certainly has to do with your DNA, obviously, but exercise, diet, and like Steve said, less stress. I mean, Betty Ruth McFadden Lang is 97 and going strong.
That's right. And it's not just stress, it's also the way you handle the stress. And because I know a lot of my patients that are very healthy into, their 90s, a lot of them grew up on a farm, and that's a pretty stressful life. It's 24/7. You're really working hard, and they've handled a lot of stress throughout their lives, but they also seem to find ways to manage it well too. And I think we all are going to face stress in our lives, and it's finding what works for you, because stress can be a motivator as well. It can be a positive thing, but we also need to find what works for each individual to handle that stress.
I agree. And I get stress released from, biking, mountain biking, doing crazy things on the mountain bike and road biking, racing cars, twisting the throttle at the motocross park. Not so much anymore. I think speed helps release a little bit of stress for me. All right. We got a bunch of people on hold. Let's go to the next call. I think it's Jeff in Sun City. Jeff, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to the both of you. My question is, have you had any positive results using IPL to remove drusins from the optic and or retina?
No, we have not, because we haven't tried it. And I don't think that would be a good idea. We'll talk about that. I mean, photobiomodulation therapy, all right, might be a different thing, because something like the Velita light therapy, which is photobiomodulation therapy, uses a series of 3 lights in the eye that in the studies have shown to be able to reverse drusen in the macula. All right. Now, as far as the optic nerve goes, I haven't seen any studies about optic nerve head drusen, but I would not recommend the IPL in the eye, because what we do is we patch the eye and put goggles over the eye, because it could, the frequency of light that's used for the IPL for dry eye and meibomian gland dysfunction in the face can damage the inside of the eye, okay? So don't think about IPL for inside the eye, only external skin, basically. But we're going to be talking, this is pretty exciting. I'm glad you brought this up. About 6 months ago, we talked a little bit, we planted the seed for one called the Velita light therapy. It got FDA approved in November of last year, and it's a non-invasive, non-surgical, non-injection way to treat the dry form of macular degeneration. I've talked to the company many times. They assure me the Lang Eye Institute will be able to have this device at the end of the summer. Now, what's the end of the summer? Okay, is that August? Is that September? Is it October? I don't know. So we'll be talking a lot more about that and some natural ways of helping macular degeneration even further in this show in the very, very near future.
Well, I have your phone number to the Lang Eye Institute. End of October and or September, I'll make that call to see if you've been able to acquire that particular therapy, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome.
Because my left optic nerve is just drowned with drusins, and they're starting to form on the right. And of course, once they affect the optic nerve, then the vision is lost in the left eye, and the right eye is slowly disintegrating. So,
how old are you now, Jeff?
I'll be 76 next month.
Yeah, you're still a young thing. You got 76, 86, 96, 106. If you become a super centurion, even more than 30 years.
At least.
All right, Jeff, thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right. You're listening to Ask the Doctors. I'm Dr. Michael Lang, and my co-host, Dr. Susan Somerton of the Lang Eye Institute and Fortifeye Vitamins. If you got a question, give us a call at 813-282-8283. We've been talking a little bit about protein. Remember, look at our Fortifeye Super Protein. That's New Zealand grass-fed whey protein. And we have our grass-fed whey isolate from American cows. Go to fortifeye.com and go to the sports nutrition section or the protein section. Click on it, read the description, look at the research at fortifeye.com, Fortifeye. You can also get it at the Lang Eye Institute in the Villages. You can get it at the Lang Nutrition Center in Ocala, Florida. And you can get it at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center in Clearwater, right on McMullen Booth Road in the Bayside Bridge Plaza next to Publix. All right. We're still going to talk with Dr. Somerton about vegan protein here in a minute, but let's go to the next call. I think it's Ashley in Sebring. Ashley, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
Fabulous.
So I just have a question. I wanted to get a second opinion. My son is 11, and we just recently took him to the doctor, and they are suggesting, I guess it's like a myopia control type of contact lens,
right,
to slow, I guess, his progression down. He's never worn them before, so I just didn't know if that was something that you feel that is safe or even worth doing.
Okay, it all depends. We look at genetics. We look at mom and dad and see how nearsighted they are. And we also look and see how nearsighted the actual child is. Oftentimes with children and contact lenses, I'll put them in the Bausch & Lomb Infuse one-day disposable. That's probably my favorite lens on the market, Bausch & Lomb Infuse. It's a one-day disposable. It's the only lens that has electrolytes in it. And this is, let's say if your mom and dad isn't extremely nearsighted and your son isn't that nearsighted at 11, that's probably the route I'd go, a one-day disposable Bausch & Lomb Infuse. However, if you're extremely nearsighted or his father's extremely nearsighted and he's progressed rapidly in the last year, there are lenses also that I'm going to let Dr. Somerton address that we fit that are made for myopia control that also work quite well. That's an area that we do specialize in. Dr. Somerton, you want to chime in on that?
Right. And she may be talking about there's a soft contact lens called M-Sight, and that is FDA approved for controlling myopia. The study was done on ages 8 through 12, and it is a therapy contact lens. It does help them see better, but it is required to wear it a minimum of 6 hours every day for it to work. But the studies really showed if we caught it during those ages 8 to 12, then it would reduce their progression, meaning they wouldn't get any worse than 1 diopter. So in other words, if their prescription, you started them, they were like a -1, then they didn't progress above a -2 over that course of the study. And so it is really huge that our goal, we know anybody above a -3. So if your prescription is above a -3, you're at risk for all of the retina issues just because of the way the eye elongates to make you that prescription. So if we can prevent from going above a -3, not only does it help the vision, but it helps prevent being at risk for a lot of eye diseases as well.
And we do have a fitting set at the Lang Eye Institute of these myopia control lenses as well.
Okay, and that was my next question. This is only his second exam, and we skipped several years. So I don't really know if it's jumped a lot or if it's just high. And is this his normal? And if it is this something that you would still consider putting him in?
Yeah, like I said, I usually would put somebody at that age in something like the Bausch & Lomb infused one-day disposable, and I'd probably undercorrect him just a little bit and then see how he's doing in 6 months, okay? But then again, based on some genetic history and things like that, if we don't know if he's progressing, I mean, if he's only just going to be a -1 myope all his life, some people get to -1 and never progress, all right? But if you're a -6 or a -12, then we'd probably go directly to the myopia control lens. But also, you got to remember the myopia control lenses are a little bit more expensive, and that includes all the follow-up care. So if somebody's on a more fixed income, just putting him in a one-day disposable like the Bausch & Lomb infused will probably be adequate. And there's a lot of my colleagues that are actually just fitting in them in a low multifocal ad power in a one-day disposable, and they claim they're getting similar results to some of these myopia control lenses. So it's a matter of seeing an eye care center like the Lang Eye Institute where we're in tune with this, and we try to work well with each patient, and we also teach them some eye exercises to alleviate the accommodative stress, to help eliminate some of this myopia, progressive myopia as well. And lastly, we talk about nutrition because there's evidence that certain nutrients, omega-3 fish oils, carotenoids, can also be beneficial at helping reduce progressive myopia.
Okay, and that was my next question. If there was just anything, vitamin-wise that we could put him on, to not stop it, but slow it, or, any supplements that you guys recommend?
Well, I recommend, I recommend eating lots of dark green leafy vegetables, orange, bell peppers, wild Alaskan salmon at any age. And certainly our Fortifeye Focus and our Fortifeye Super Omega, an 11-year-old can take it. I mean, my daughter's taken it since she was 8, actually the omega-3 since she was born. So Fortifeye Focus and or Fortifeye Super Omega, those are two that are totally safe for young people and elderly. But adjusting the diet, remember, being on an anti-inflammatory diet, not a pro-inflammatory diet. The typical American diet is the SAD diet, standard American diet. So Google Lang Survival Diet. It's a diet we created that's an anti-inflammatory diet filled with all the antioxidants necessary to bring the nutrients to the eye, to the brain, and to every part of the body. So Google Lang Survival Diet as well, okay?
Will do. Thank you both for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We got time to talk a little bit about this with Dr. Summerton. A lot of you are vegans and on a vegetarian diet, only vegetables, okay? It's very popular. Now, listen up. It could be impacting your health negatively, all right? An all plant-based diet might not be as good as you think because people that are on completely all plant-based diet, they're more likely to have major chronic diseases and cognitive impairment, much more likely to have increased hip fracture, poor bone health, sarcopenia. This is muscle wasting because they're protein deficient. You almost have to have a PhD in nutrition in order to make it on a vegan diet. Isn't that correct, Dr. Summerton? But there is a way that vegans can still thrive.
That is, sorry for that disturbance. I think Massey termite is at my door. But yes, I was actually just reading a study that was published April of 2025. So a very recent study from this year about the vegetarian diet and healthy aging. And of course, that's what we want to do. We all want to have a quality of life. And basically, they found that overall, 35% lower odds of healthy aging in the vegetarians versus the omnivores. So omnivores is the people that eat both plant and meat products. And the vegans showed even, unfortunately, a sharper effect. The omnivores did a lot better. And this was kind of consistently since like about age 60. They were about 78% more likely to age healthier than lifelong vegetarians. So even if you do change a little bit over time, it makes a difference too. There was also, for the vegetarians, higher odds of major chronic illness, physical impairment, cognitive decline by age 80. But here's the kind of little caveat, the quality mattered. So the vegetarians that had the high quality plant-based diet, and that's why we emphasize quality when we talk about our vegan protein, they actually showed comparable outcomes to the omnivores. So if you're going to be a vegetarian, you have to be super, super strict on the quality that you're putting in your body.
Absolutely correct. And that's why we worked for years on the Fortifeye Vegan Super Protein. Comes in a bag. It is the only vegan protein that I know of that is created in North America. The pea protein is fermented pea protein, non-GMO from Canada, and the barley protein is fermented here from America. We add Velositol so we can double the amino acid power. It has amino acid, branch chain amino acids, and essential amino acids. That of whey protein is delicious. It's chocolate, vanilla, salted caramel, mocha, and it is not chalky. It's very creamy. It's not grainy. So those vegans out there, if you want a complete protein where the branch chain amino acids are as high as whey, think about the Fortifeye Vegan Super Protein. We're going to talk more next week about hot tubs, how they can help you with anti-aging even better than saunas. Remember, check everything out at the website, fortifeye.com. Fortifeye.com. And Dr. Summerton, you got to tell everybody goodbye.
Wishing everybody a healthy day. Go out there, do something you love, do something to lower your stress, eat something healthy. Thank you for listening.
Awesome. And I see a lot of you were chiming in on social media. I'll answer those questions sometime today. Didn't have time to address them on the radio today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to Ask the Doctor. I'm Dr. Michael Lang. Out of here. Have a great day and God bless you.